Hey, everybody. Welcome to True Crime Paranormal with the Psychic Sisters. I'm Kristi Brower, here with my co host, sister, and partner in crime, Katie Weaver. Hey, Katie.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going good.
Glad to hear it.
I'm
We are.
making my list. I'm checking it twice.
Are you? Okay. Yeah, me too. Me too. I
Mhm.
know it's getting a little close to all the holidays. It's already Hanukkah.
Yeah.
Other holidays are coming quickly.
Mhm.
I feel like when I was down with the coronavirus, I lost like a solid week. Like I feel
Yeah.
like I'm like a week behind of everything because I don't even remember some of those days, which
Mhm.
is so weird because now I'm looking at it, it's like it's the 11th of December. Holy
Yeah.
crap. I have a lot to do. I hope you all out there are ready for whatever holidays you celebrate and are having a good time. And
Yeah.
I hope this is a good time of year for all of you. I know it could be a hard time of year too,
Yeah.
which is one reason why we like to be here and do what we do, because we like to bring you something to make you smile.
Yeah.
I
Crime.
know. That's a
Great.
weird thing, right? Crime, yeah. We bring you crime because it makes you smile. No, we like to present the cases and talk about, read them. This is a cold read show
Mhm.
today and, hopefully give some hope in some situations. So that is definitely what we like to do.
Absolutely.
So today we are doing a case that was suggested by a listener. So Laurie, thank you very much for this case suggestion. This is Jeramy Burt. Jeramy Burt was last seen on February 11th, 2007 in Boise, Idaho, which is, about 5 hours from where we live.
Give me the
He
date again.
It was February 11th, 2007. So he had been at home with his dad and his 4-year-old daughter. And at about 10:30 at night, he told his dad, "Will you put my daughter to bed? I want to go visit a friend." He never got to the friend's house and he never came home.
Mm.
Just vanished.
Oh.
So he had been talking and kind of getting closer again with his ex-wife, Kim, who was his daughter's mother. They
Mhm.
had been talking about potentially trying their relationship again. And after he went missing, Kim received some weird text messages saying he was leaving, he was walking away, he was going to start a new life, he was out. And his mother received those texts as well. And they both found them very strange. The communication wasn't like him at all. It didn't sound like him. It just didn't feel like
Yeah.
he wrote it. And it was really unlike him to just walk away from his family. He was close to his family.
Mhm.
He was close to his daughter. He and Kim had been discussing getting back together.
Yeah.
And um was just really, really strange. Like none of this seemed like him at all. And his dad believes that he is dead at this point. This was in
Mhm.
2007, so it's 13 years ago. So a few months after he disappeared, the charred remains of the car that he had been driving, which actually I believe turned out to be his mother's car,
Mhm.
were found in the southern Idaho desert in Owyhee County. It was down by the Idaho-Nevada border, and the car was
Okay.
down in this ravine, and it had been torched.
Okay.
There were no human remains in the car. They sifted all through all the burnt stuff. They didn't find anything to indicate who'd been in the car, of course, or anything. They
Mhm.
also said it was so remote that there had to have been two people and two cars out there,
Yeah.
because where did the person who drove the car down the ravine go? Like
Mhm.
somebody else was with them. The police really believe that there are at least two people involved in his
Mhm.
disappearance. Um, so the police have not ever named any suspects in this case, and they do keep it an open case. Although I read in several different articles that Jeremy is believed to be dead at this
Yeah.
point. They don't think that he would have walked away from his family like this and not said
No.
anything. But let me give you a little bit of background on him that might help you a little bit in this cold read. So obviously, the burned out car was to destroy evidence.
Yeah.
And the police couldn't even drive down to where the car was. That's how far down in this ravine it was. It wasn't wrecked, it was driven down in there.
Yeah.
And they thought that was really strange. And they said that, they really feel like there was someone else there to whoever
Mhm.
drove the car down in there and torched it. They had to walk up out of that ravine and there was nowhere to go other than to get into another car.
Yeah.
So there's been a lot of talk on Reddit and all over the internet about him and about what may have happened to him. But let me tell you a little bit about him historically. He served in the Navy. He was a Gulf War vet from 93 to 99. And he seemed to have kind of tumultuous relationships with women. While he was
Mhm.
in Japan, he met a woman and married her. They weren't married very long, divorced pretty shortly after that.
Mhm.
Then Jeremy met Kim George, who is the mother of his daughter.
Yeah.
They were married in 2002 and they had their daughter Mackenzie. It's still his love life still wasn't great though, and he and Kim got
Mhm.
divorced not long after Mackenzie was born.
Mhm.
And that is when Jeremy started dating Jeannie Braun, and Jeannie Braun was his divorce attorney when he divorced Kim.
Oh.
Yeah. So in 2004, Jeremy testified against Jeannie Braun in court for illegal activity relating to being an attorney. So,
Interesting.
yeah. So she was sentenced to a year in jail and 14 years of probation. She pled guilty to forging a judge's signature and influencing a witness.
Wow.
Yeah. She was disbarred. She went to jail. She was on probation. Like it trashed her life. And that's when kind of things started getting, he started getting a lot closer to back to Kim.
Mhm.
And, they were really close as they were raising their daughter together. And then they'd kind of been talking about like, maybe we're going to try it again.
Mhm.
And let's see. So the night that he disappeared, he just told his dad, I'm going to a friend's house. I'll be back later.
Mhm.
But he just never ended up at that friend's house. Like from
Mhm.
leaving his house to going to the friend's house, he just vanished.
Mhm.
Kim, she was in Las Vegas at the time working. And so that's why Jeremy had their little girl.
Mhm.
She got these weird text messages from him that just didn't seem, they indicated he was never coming back, that, he was walking away. He was,
Yeah.
started a new life.
Yeah.
And she said they didn't sound like him at all. It didn't come across
No.
like it was coming from him. And she said it was really out of the blue
Oh.
because they'd really kind of been working on getting their relationship back together.
Mhm.
So there were charges on his credit card 45 minutes away from where he had been with his dad. And then he just disappeared after that.
Mhm.
His credit card was used and then he was just gone.
Yeah.
And then the car shows up. There's really never been any other evidence besides that. The police have suspects. They've made it clear that they really do think they know who did this, but they don't have any evidence. They don't have any way to charge anybody.
Mhm.
At this point, his daughter is now 15 and lives
Mhm.
with in July of 2016, Jeremy's ex-wife Kim
Mhm.
died of suicide.
Oh.
Yeah. So that was 9
Oh, that's
years
so
after his
heartbreaking.
disappearance. Yes.
Yeah, because this just destroyed her. I feel like she really loved him.
Mhm.
He was just hard to love, you know? I feel like he didn't know how to reciprocate in relationships, and even though he wanted to be better, he was just really, really selfish and
Yeah.
just didn't know how to meet somebody where they were, you know? But I
Yeah.
feel like Kim always loved him and that this just destroyed her. Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah. Their daughter is now 15 and she lives with her stepfather, who is someone that Kim had married
Uh-huh.
um, after Jeremy went missing.
Mhm.
there's lots of speculation that Kim killed him. She wasn't really in Las Vegas, that the ex-wife killed him. That, he worked in construction, and there's been speculation that there was something shady going on at work.
I
There's a
don't think
lot of
so.
speculation, but none of the speculation has led to any evidence at all. They have nothing. They have no evidence whatsoever.
I do not believe this was anyone that he knew. I don't think it had anything to do with Jeannie and all of her bullshit, even though, she'd be an easy suspect, but I actually don't feel like she had anything to do with it. I
Okay.
feel like this was a carjacking gone wrong. I
Okay.
feel like this was a couple of men who were trying to just basically boost a car and get out of town,
Mhm.
and he fought back. Rather than just give up the car, the warrior, the soldier in him kicked in, and he fought with them, and they killed him. I
Mm.
feel like they drove that car quite a ways with him in the trunk before
Mhm.
they disposed of his body. Obviously, I think probably somewhere around the halfway point between Boise and where the car was actually trashed.
Okay.
I do feel like they uh, buried that body somewhere out in a desert.
Mhm.
And, I would be surprised if his remains are ever found.
It's a
This looks to
really
me like,
desolate area out
yeah.
in there.
I mean, this looks like an Idaho desert that, goes on forever, and
Mm.
you don't really people aren't on, and that
Right.
they, in the middle of the night, dug a good enough hole and dumped that body and drove the car and got more and more paranoid about it until they met up with someone else who helped them to drive it down in that ravine and get rid of it. I I'm surprised that they hung on to it for as long as they did. I feel like the car itself actually sat in someone's garage or barn. This
Mm.
looks more like a shed to me, or kind of shed or barn, but it
Mhm.
sat in for a while with them knowing, like, we need to get rid of this car,
Mm.
and knowing
Mhm.
it's full of evidence, it's full of his blood and
Mm.
stuff because they put him in the trunk for a while
Mhm.
anyway until they finally made a plan to get rid of it the way they did. But again, I don't think it's anybody that he actually knew. I feel like he just this happened at an intersection. Literally just happened at an intersection when
Mm.
these guys got into his car and tried
Mhm.
to demand that he get out, and he refused and fought him, and it cost him his life. Yeah,
Mm.
it's super sad and ugly and
Mm.
something that should have never ever happened. It's
Yeah.
also sad because I feel like had he just gotten out of the car and let him have it, he would have lived. But
Right. They weren't actually planning to murder anybody.
no, no, and I kind of think they weren't really maybe killers, but they were then fighting for their lives, because he was a trained soldier and he was fighting them.
Yeah.
And it came down really badly. But at any rate, these guys look to me like they were in their mid 20s when this happened. So, they're
Mhm.
quite a lot older now, mid 30s at least. But
Mhm.
at any rate, I feel like this was drug related,
Mm.
and that yeah, that's how it went down. I think it's really sad. I do feel like though that whoever these men are, they don't live in Boise. I feel like they were in Boise doing
Mhm.
something that had to do with drugs. That's a pretty good drug corridor through there.
It is.
And I feel like they were running drugs or something along those lines and ended up without transportation. And we're just going to boost a car and get back to where they came from, which I
Mhm.
think is closer to where the car was found,
Ah,
actually.
okay.
I don't feel like they went a long ways to ditch the car,
Mhm.
like maybe a couple hours, but they didn't.
Yeah.
That's more from where they're at.
Mhm. Wow. So,
Yeah.
how did they kill him?
Oh, I think they had a gun. I do.
Mm.
I think they were kind of thuggy, maybe had a gun, weren't kids that normally would use it, but yeah,
Mhm.
thought they were cool with their gun. So yeah, I think they did shoot him after he fought back and,
Mm.
went after them, and yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, very, very unfortunate. And it's a case of wrong place, the wrong time.
Mhm.
But, in having his body, discovering he had a phone on him, then because they were stupid and scared, they thought that they would try to cover their tracks by sending those texts.
Mm-hmm. Which really just made it much more suspicious.
Oh, yeah.
They
Yeah.
knew, family members knew immediately that this wasn't him. It wasn't coming from him. It didn't sound
No.
like him.
No, these weren't, real geniuses. And,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah. So anyway, yeah, very sad. Very sad. But I feel like everything they did at night and they did out in those super remote areas,
Mm-hmm.
you know. Yeah. It's too bad there wasn't a witness in Boise as to what happened, because that at least happened, in a more residential area, but it was fairly late at night and apparently not.
Apparently not. And this was 2007 too, so there
Mhm.
wasn't as much surveillance around as there is now,
Mhm.
to pick up on camera. But if this was in a more residential kind of neighborhood, there wouldn't have been much of that anyway.
No.
And the hard part
No.
is they didn't even know where to start looking because they didn't even know where it occurred.
Right. Though I do think there was a gunshot
Mm-hmm.
and no one reported that.
Yeah.
But then, I mean, there's a lot of reasons. They could have had a silencer, or people could have just thought it was fireworks or something else.
Mhm.
Honestly, you
Well,
hear
they could have
gunshots at
reported it, and it wouldn't,
maybe, and it just
may
didn't
not have ever
track.
been connected to this case.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe so. Because I do think that there was at least one gunshot. But
Mhm.
we hear things at my house every once in a while that I'm like, was that a gunshot? Was that a car backfiring? Was that a firework? So
Mhm.
maybe people did hear something and didn't equate what they were hearing with, a crime.
Well, I mean, living in Idaho and even in Boise,
Mhm.
Idaho has very relaxed gun laws, and so
Yeah.
people carry guns everywhere. You do
Mhm.
hear guns, and it
Oh,
doesn't
yeah.
always mean someone's getting shot. There are
Right.
guns
Yeah.
everywhere in the state.
Yeah.
I think that you would be a little less likely to even be concerned about it living here,
Yes.
frankly,
I think so too. Yeah.
just because you're pretty used to, it.
Guns around. Yeah, for sure. But yeah. So very sad about Kim, though. I feel like she just could not recover from this.
Mhm.
It does feel like there might have been some addiction or alcoholism there with her too. Like there was some substance abuse, I think, but
Yeah.
it kind of all rolls back to that relationship that she couldn't ever reconcile. And anyway, just really sad for her and for their daughter.
So much so, yeah.
Very sad for her.
Well, and his parents, you know, have just been devastated
Oh,
and trying, still trying. And there's like a news story every year on the anniversary of his death and, trying to at
sure.
least get some closure. But
Mhm.
his dad, his mom, I didn't really see her be interviewed, but his dad was interviewed several times and he absolutely believes that he has died because he doesn't believe that he would have ever gone this long without reaching out to his family. Just
No, he
wasn't his
wouldn't have.
personality, just wasn't who he was.
Anyway, that little girl was his world.
Yeah,
She
she
was his
was.
whole world. I feel like having her changed him a lot.
Mhm.
And
That's what everybody said about him is that he would never have left her.
no, definitely not. Nope. Just wrong place, wrong time. Very
Yeah.
sad.
That's horrifying, and it's horrifying to think that someone could be taken from their family in that way. It's almost like
Right.
I don't like to say that, maybe if there was a reason because it's never okay. But I
No.
think it's even worse when it's just random violence
Right.
that
Yeah.
takes somebody away. Like if it could have
Mhm.
been a different car during, in that intersection, it would have been someone else. Like it's just so ugh,
Yeah.
that's just scary.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that read. I
Yeah,
appreciate it very
absolutely.
much. Yeah. Well, we are True Crime Paranormal, as you know. We do love case suggestions. This was a case suggestion from a listener. You can send us a case suggestion. Go to our website,
Mhm.
truecrimeparanormalpodcast.com, and you can sign up for our newsletter there. You can send us case suggestions. Please send us cold cases. That's what we read as cold cases.
Mhm.
And you can also, there are places to click to see how to get a reading with me or a reading with Katie, a
Mhm.
place to go to our merch. You can join our Patreon and get extra episodes. We just recorded a really fun episode about people committing crimes while dressed as Santa. And that
Mhm.
going to our patrons. And so if you want to hear that, go join our Patreon and you'll be able to hear some, gotta say, pretty funny stories about people doing stupid stuff while dressed as Santa.
Yeah. And pretty epic times when Santa was definitely naughty and not nice.
I guess I didn't know that there were so many Santa-related crimes, but there are a lot of them.
Mhm.
But you can learn about that over on our Patreon. So definitely check out our website, truecrimeparanormalpodcast.com. Lots of great stuff over there. And we will be back this week with 2 more cases, as well as 2 live streams. On Wednesday, we do our case update live stream, and on Thursday, so that's 8 p.m. Mountain Time.
Mhm.
And on Thursday at 8 p.m. Mountain, we do the Thursday Psychic Show.
Yeah.
And so that's a show that's not true crime. It's more about the psychic stuff that we do. And we like to read for people and talk about all kinds of cool stuff. So
Yeah.
be sure to join us on all of those things.
Please do.
And always, whatever platform you're on, if you're on YouTube, if you're on Spotify or Apple, wherever, please like, subscribe, comment. We really appreciate that. Share if we resonate with you. Please share our show with other people. We're always just trying to grow and be able to do more and more things with you guys here. So we really appreciate that when you help us out that way.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Well, we are True Crime Paranormal with the Psychic Sisters. Thanks for being here, guys.
Bye, guys.